Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. I have Elizabeth Huling, and she is Executive Director of the Clark Hulings Fund for Visual Arts. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right. Yeah. Tell me about the Dallas Art Business Summit. What can artists attend expect to learn?
Well, it is a 2-day intensive, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And we've titled it Conquering a Changing Marketplace, because as everybody knows, regardless of what field they're in, the lid is off the pot. Everything is changing. Technology is driving change extremely quickly. And in the art industry, especially the visual art industry, this is resulting in huge changes. Brick and mortar galleries are struggling. They're changing their business models. We've seen the rise of the art fair. There are many, many ways in which artists really have to think about going direct to their potential collectors and their markets. And that's not necessarily to undercut a dealer, but it's to work hand in hand in partnership with that dealer to make sure that the artist is able to tell his or her story effectively, articulately, and provide that to whoever is helping make sales and get the artist's art out there, accessible to be shown, taken to market, sold online, in person, in whatever fashion. So we will be tackling many of those aspects of the professional visual art industry during this summit. The other thing that we really focus on at the Clark Hulings Fund is putting artists together to help create community, to create networks, to give them their peers that they can work together with to better run their businesses and get their art out there. That we feel is one of our biggest jobs. That, and then once we've connected the dots and kind of pushed people into motion, we say, how do you have the best portfolio you can have? How do you sell your work online? Should you sell your work online? Should you go to an art fair? What is the real cost to you to take your work to an art fair? We put all of those bits and pieces into artists' brains, and they put them into their spiral notebooks or onto their computers or whatever have you. And once that happens, and we put them with other artists and say, okay, go, discuss amongst yourselves, help each other. Beyond that, we follow up with them. We don't just leave them alone so that 3 months later they find that spiral notebook in their studio and they say, oh, pricing, right, I forgot about that. No, we follow up. We say, visit our portal, get on the phone with each other, call our office hours, learn more. So once they're in motion, we kind of encourage positive inertia in a good direction. So that's, in more than a nutshell, a lot of what we'll be covering during this seminar, during this summit.
When is it?
It is September 7th through the 9th. We start on the 7th with an opening reception at Turner House in Oak Cliff, and we're really excited about that. And we're going to hear from various members of the art business community in really North Texas. We have not only just Dallas people there. And then we're going to be at the Alexander Mansion on Ross Avenue in Dallas for the balance of the summit. And we're really excited to be coming to Dallas.
Me too, and I'd love to be there to walk around and meet other people.
Please come.
I'll do my best to get there. Now, let me move forward on this, because how do visual artists contribute to the economy of a community? I know that you've got a better idea than the common sense of just trading in art. There's more to it than that.
Sure. Well, if you extend it to design, and beyond that too, what is the purpose of art? I mean, it drives everything. Our creativity is what makes us successful as a species, as human beings, right? Mm-hmm. And artists lead the way on that. As far as economic development in a community, well, we know in various ways artists are surprisingly successful, and I say the word surprisingly in a sort of despondent way because it shouldn't be a surprise. Artists tend to inhabit neighborhoods that other people don't want to be in because they can't afford to be anywhere else. And so you see this trend happen over and over again. The artists move in. Everybody wants to be where the artists are because, again, that's, it reminds us of why we're on the planet and what we're all really trying to accomplish. It's sort of the juice of life, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody follows them. And pretty soon then you have galleries open, and then you have stores open, and then you have restaurants and bars open because all the people who want to see the art and meet the artists go to those neighborhoods. And then pretty soon you see gentrification of the neighborhood, and then pretty soon the artists move on
and
to the
do
next
it all over
neighborhood.
again.
And they do it all over again. And so that is a cycle. Where the artists are is where everybody wants to be. That's number one. Number two, artists are job creators. If you have a successful small business, which is what an independent artist is doing, they're running a small business, they hire people. They hire people to handle their social media. They hire people to run their offices. They hire people to do their taxes and balance their books. And they hire people to build crates for them so that they can ship things. They are running small businesses. So the more successful they are in that, the more they're going to be contributing.
I'm glad you brought that out and explained it in its entirety for us. How has the art marketplace changed?
Wow. Well, I touched on some of that a little earlier.
You did.
Technology is changing everything for everybody. But what we're seeing is, in terms of marketing, especially when it comes to digital marketing and also online sales and just networking, reaching your people, reaching your audience, we're doing that more and more online. And that means that the old model for selling art is completely changing. And the people who used to be given that responsibility because, artists, they don't know how to do things. Artists, they're not business people, which of course is ridiculous. These people don't know how to do any of those things either. So we're actually at a moment of a level playing field where everybody has to learn how to use Twitter. And artists, in fact, are better at learning these new things than many other people because that's their MO. Mm-hmm. That's what they do in life is say, well, what is that thing over there? Is it useful to me to communicate what I'm trying to communicate? And maybe they don't use it the way it was intended, but oftentimes then everybody else goes, oh gosh, I didn't know I could even use that way. That's even a better way to use it. So they are just as, if not better equipped to conquer our brave new 21st century digital world than anybody else is. So that CHF, we're really coming in and saying, take advantage of that. It doesn't mean you have to do everything yourself, but you can set out the vision for your business in a way that you have not been able to do before, independent visual artist. And then you can pull in the expertise and talent in a 1099 way, in a shared economy, new economy way, to really drive your business forward. So it's a great moment to be an artist if you're able to avail yourself of these things and learn how to do them, and then you're willing to step into that and really be the CEO of your little world.
Right. I agree with that. What can artists do to sell more art in this new program?
Well, I think I just mentioned a few things.
You did. You did.
Don't be afraid of new technology. And I think, most of the advice and the suggestions and the tools and the training that we give to visual artists, I give to any other client that I have had previously in my business strategy consulting career, right? It's all the same. It's yes, you, and yes, you must. Go ahead and learn new things. You're just as good and just as capable of it as anybody else. And because you are an artist and your entire job is to communicate. And we are in the age of personal expression and communication. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and tell your story. Why did you create that sculpture? Why did you make that painting? Why is this important to you? Go ahead and tell your story. And you're able to tell your story in many ways that we've never had before, directly. So I think that's the single most important thing to say. The second thing I'll say is make sure that you are taking proper advantage in that, you know, you've created a digital portfolio for yourself, and every image in there is cropped and it's the right resolution and it's captioned the way you want it to be, and you're displaying it. There are a lot of tools out there that you can use very easily, and you should be taking advantage of all of those opportunities.
Now, you also help people to become more self-sustaining entrepreneurs for their art. Bring that out.
A self-sustaining entrepreneur, well,
yeah,
artists are running their own small businesses.
Right.
And the more they can think of themselves that way, as the CEO of their small business, the more empowered they are.
Do you find? Let me get in the conversation for a second. Do you find that artists don't necessarily think of themselves in that classic sense, like I have a CEO, I have a COO, and I have a CFO, and then I have my product? Do they think like that?
No.
Yes, that's where you come in.
Well, some of them do. I mean, the reason I'm sitting here today is because I had a father, Clark Hulings, who was an artist who did think that way. So, and he was successful, you know, and I survived, and I'm an adult, and he put me through college, and he was successful. So I know it can be done, and I know other artists who do think that way. But many artists don't. And frankly, it's because we do them a terrible disservice. You declare that you're going to be an artist, and then you go to art school, and in art school you do not learn any of these things. And then you come out into the world and you already lack the self-esteem or the belief that you could do these things, and you've not been given the training even really to know. I mean, what is a COO? What is a CEO? What is a C? I mean, these are business terms that artists don't acquire. And then you come out in the marketplace and you're hit with a bunch of people who make money by transacting on your work. And it behooves them to have you, the artist, not believe that you're capable of doing these things, because then, of course, you need more help. And of course, you have to give away a bigger percentage of your income in order to get that help. We see it on the collector side too, with the art advisor. You know, oh, well, you can't make your own decisions because you don't have a degree, and so your taste might be flawed, or you might pick something that is not a good investment. And so, you know, we see it on all sides, right? Mm-hmm. With artists, though, they come out of school, and as opposed to a lawyer or a doctor who also does not get business training, the lawyer and the doctor, first of all, they are capable of making a lot of money right away. And second of all, everybody says, but you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're smart, you can figure that stuff out. Whereas with an artist, everybody says, oh, you're an artist, you're creative, you shouldn't have to figure these things out. You shouldn't be allowed to figure these things out, because if you come out of your studio and balance your checkbook, the muse might vanish, and then it might not come back. So you should just make your art, which is ridiculous. It is one, as you said, you're the CEO, you have a COO, you have a CFO, you have, I would argue, marketing, communications, and then you have your product. Mm-hmm. Well, this is a strange industry in which the creator of the product is not in charge of the product. And that's another aspect of the Clark Hulings Fund that we're really promoting. It's the networking piece of it. You know, there is no Society for Human Resources Managers for artists. There is not an organization where they come together and they're running it to say, this is what we need, this is how can we help each other, how can we pursue our businesses. And part of that is because they've never seen themselves in this light before, and that is a lot of the work that my organization does.
Elizabeth, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. You've really broken new ground for us in this industry sector. I appreciate that.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here. I mean, this is right where we want to be, because we're all about business. That's our point. So thank you.
You're welcome. All right, you've been watching CEO Money. Thank you for joining with us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.